Okay, welcome to this episode of Good Morning Mama. It is a different type of episode because Chelsea is not with us, but my daughter Jenna is.
Hello.
And Chelsea just had a baby, and I cannot wait until our next episode for you guys to see sweet little Cora because I bet she's going to make some guest appearances with her mom. But Chelsea is doing great. So is baby Cora. They're just home, just enjoying just their new family and their new baby. And so today, Jenna and I are going to take over Good Morning Mama and talk about just how we have a very good relationship, how we have a strong bond. We always have, and just talking about being a teen and raising teens today. So that's what we're going to talk about, and let's get started.
Yeah.
So Jenna is 16. And she just recently started a Instagram page called Jenna Bean Adventures. And it's so cute because like our page is the Bradley Bunch Adventures. And so Jenna is Jenna Bean Adventures. Yeah. And I've always known Jenna was amazing, like from day one. I mean, I'm her mom, obviously, but watching her navigate her page and just the way she has inspired teens and even adults through her page and her reach to people in different states and even countries, and the positive feedback has been really fun for me to watch as her mom, but also as an influencer who tried to like protect her from social media. She said, I want to start my own page. And I'm like, ooh, because I just thought of all the sometimes there's just people that are just ugly on there, and I just wanted to protect you from that. But she's doing great at navigating that, and I'm just proud of her. But anyway, I'm going to talk about a lot of things about just raising teens and being a teen today in 2024.
And how to have a good relationship.
So I'm going to turn it over to Jenna and ask you, just off the cuff, we're just asking questions here, and she might ask me some too, but what do you think me and Daddy have done to help encourage a strong relationship into teen years? Like, what have we done that has helped you and your siblings be close to us as you guys have entered teen years?
I definitely think it is different. Like I would say that the oldest child versus like Bo or Inga especially is a lot different than raising me. But I feel like the best things that you have done for me and our relationship and Dada has done for our relationship was definitely not like ridiculing me. Like I do get things wrong. I'm growing up, but you don't. Like, you're not as strict, and you're very good at, like, understanding.
Like, we don't react negatively if something bad happens or something that doesn't go according to how we would want it. We don't. I know what you mean. Yes, and I've actually talked about that in our other podcast episodes, just how, like, if a child makes a mistake or does something that isn't ideal, because it'll happen if it hasn't, then it's important to try to not react overly harsh, because then the next time they make a mistake or do something, they may not come to you and talk to you about these things. They might turn more inward, and that's not what we want as parents. Even if we do react more harsh than we wanted, we never want to push our children away. We always want them to come back to us. And that's good. I'm glad that you feel like that.
Also, you have like taken our relationship as a friendship, not really much of like I mean, obviously, I respect that you are my mom, but it's more of like, oh, but I love talking to her. She's my best friend.
Yeah.
But she's also my mom. Yeah. So
sometimes I have to remind myself of that, because Jenna is just, I've always said, like, even when she was little, like, everything was just more fun when she was around. And like, I always just loved like hanging out with her. And we just always, she was my mini me, because the way we look, it looks like looking in the mirror. But, and also when she was little, she looked like my baby pictures. But it was always just more fun to have her around, because she's like my little buddy. And now that she's gotten older, like, she's my friend. Like, she's one of my best friends. And it's just really been fun to raise her and like watch her grow, but also be
Yeah.
so close and like, and embrace the friendship
Mhm.
part of parenthood too, because it can be fun.
Yeah,
can
it is
be,
very fun.
yeah. So you don't have to
Yeah.
be, I am the parent and you are the child. Like you
Yeah.
can,
Have fun.
you
Like,
can have fun
yeah.
with it. Yep. But you've made it very easy too. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been.
I have a very high expectation for myself.
We
that I
haven't had to
hold.
do any discipline for Jenna,
Yeah.
hardly ever.
I don't think I've ever been grounded ever. I don't think that's ever
You might have
to
had
be a
to
thing.
threaten it once a long time ago, maybe, or
Yeah.
something, but not.
Yeah.
She's just one
And
of those
it was probably for something
classic
crazy.
firstborn.
Yeah.
They're always kind of
Exactly.
easy. I always say, like, if the firstborn's easy, then they're kind of an anomaly, because usually you don't get 2 or 3
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
Sam was kind of a classic firstborn too.
Mhm.
He's very similar in characteristics
Yeah,
to
he
you.
is.
You guys were kind of like both
Yeah.
firstborns in a way. But what do you think are the biggest challenges to, like, you don't know anything different because
Mhm.
you've only been a
Mhm.
teen, now. But
Yeah.
what do you think are the greatest challenges right now in being a teen, like in today's age?
I think like just figuring out like who you want to spend your time with is
Yeah.
like the hardest thing. Like there's so many different groups in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and just picking that right one, or even not picking one because you would rather go to somebody that you
Or just be
want.
friends with everybody.
Yeah, be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And I feel like finding out who you want to be in high school is very
Do you
like,
think that
hard,
social
but-
media has made it difficult, like more hard to be a teen
I-
nowadays? Or
I think so. Just like because everybody is so scared of making a mistake and
Mhm.
it being out there forever.
Yeah.
Like
I
if
can see
somebody
that.
takes a bad picture of you, I
Yeah.
mean, you didn't have to worry about that in the
or
60s.
post an embarrassing
Mhm.
moment, or even the
Mhm.
80s when I was a kid, we
Yeah.
didn't have any of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was no worrying about what you
Yeah.
looked
I
like
never
or
thought
how
about that.
you
Yeah.
presented yourself. But now it's
Yeah.
like everything. Everybody worries about that.
Do you think that on social media, everyone posts their highlights? They post the best part, the
Yeah.
best picture, the best everything.
Yes.
Do you think that some teens view that as real life all the time and think that they are less than because they don't have a picture perfect everything all the time?
Mhm.
Even though influencers don't either, but that's what is
Yeah.
portrayed.
I think that like when people see my page, like my friends see my page, they think, oh, she's like perfect and she has nothing wrong like going on with her life. But that is like not how it is at all.
You share on
definitely-
stories behind the scenes.
Yes, I share behind
Yeah.
the scenes, and I'm trying to like
Yeah.
show like what
Yeah.
life is like.
Yeah.
Like, and it is like this. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
definitely think that a lot
You're
of
not putting
people-
on a facade.
No,
it's just,
no.
It's just
Yeah.
that's what everybody does on social
Yeah,
media. Is
and-
you post the best
Mhm.
picture.
I think that everybody is also on social media. They see other people,
Yeah.
how they live their life, and they just want to live their life like that. And so there's so many of the same
Yeah.
like copies, and they just are not who they are, like
Yeah.
truly.
I could just like trying to remember what
Mhm.
it was like to be a teen, and then thinking about adding social media on top of
Yeah.
that. I could just imagine like feelings of
Stress.
stress and feelings of insecurity
Yeah,
of
definitely.
I'm not enough this, or I
Mhm.
need to do better here, or because
Mhm.
you see all these accounts who are making everything look better, or more simple, or
Mhm.
they might be prettier, skinnier, or whatever the thing
Yeah.
is, and as a teen, a lot of teens are insecure anyway,
Mhm.
and then to have that on top of it,
Mhm.
I don't know, I just think that it could fuel the wrong things.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I feel like you have done a great job at being like, you just correct it.
Mhm.
Like if you see, like even Inga, she's like, oh, I want these clothes, or I need these products because everybody else has that. You're like, Inga, you're perfect the way you are. Or even me, like you're perfect
Yeah.
the way you are. I feel like reassuring is the biggest thing. Like now.
I've always tried to not make you guys materialistic,
Yeah.
because in a home where we're blessed that we can get you guys a lot of things, I
Mhm.
want you guys to all realize that
Mhm.
things are things, and they don't make you happy, and
Yeah.
they will just lead to the next thing that you want,
Yeah.
and it's never going to fill your bucket.
Yeah. I think that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
And finding who you are without social media, and growing up in a day and age where like that's where you want to turn to find who you are,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very hard, like as a teenager. So I definitely think that social media is not helping with
Mm-hmm.
trying to connect on who you are and who you want to be.
But do you think that there's a positive to it
Yes,
too?
yeah.
Like if you use social media correctly and
Mhm.
being a teen in today's world, like do you think there's
and helping,
pros?
yeah, I think helping,
Yeah.
like finding people who are very relatable to
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
and don't make you want to
Don't
be
make you feel
somebody,
worse.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
or be somebody that you're not,
Yeah.
is very, very good to turn to and like look.
Yeah, because I know like Jenna
Mhm.
has a hobby of baking. She loves to bake, and it's just
Yeah.
like this natural. She definitely didn't get it from me, but she loves to
Mhm.
bake, and because of that, she has found accounts that she
Yeah.
follows that teach her baking skills,
Mhm.
and now she's gotten into gardening, which is
Yeah.
so cool. But those are things that like I couldn't teach her. I mean, I
Mhm.
could like struggle
Mhm.
through it with her, and I'd probably go to YouTube or read
Yeah.
books or something.
Yeah.
But social media has helped you
Oh yes,
with
definitely.
those skills.
Yeah.
And do you think that that is a
I think that
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like I see all of these different accounts. They talk about how to get your, I don't even know how to get the perfect cookie or how to
Yeah.
make the perfect cake, or like for my mom's birthday cake, I literally found it on TikTok.
Yeah, and it was
so-
delicious.
and
It was
yeah.
so good.
And so I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've messaged like some of the bakers just like because I know them.
Yeah.
And they're just very uplifting, or like,
cool.
yeah. So I definitely think that it's fun.
There's a positive
Yeah,
to it.
and there's
Yeah.
other accounts that are like my age,
Yeah.
and they also bake, and it's just very fun. I feel like it's a good creative way to show like your group of people, because there's so many different types of people out there.
Yeah.
It's very, yeah.
I get asked a lot about phones and how we
Mhm.
manage technology in the age that we allow kids to have phones. And I know this is controversial, and I don't even want this episode to be controversial, but what we have done and what has seemed to work well so far is we've given our kids phones whenever they start sports or activities at school, where they need to reach us if like a sport practice changes, or if it runs late, or if we need to pick them up, or whatever it is. And so I think for Jenna that was age 12 or so.
Yeah,
Was that
it
12?
was. I was really.
And I know a lot of her
than
friends
my
had
friends,
phones
yeah.
before her.
Mhm.
And same with Sam, and with Liam, I think it was around the same age.
Liam is very mature though. He's
Mhm.
very, very like mindful with his phone.
Yeah.
He's like a grandpa. He doesn't even like.
They don't even carry their phones everywhere. They
Yeah.
leave them in the house usually, and just
Yeah.
they'll call us and text us, but
Yeah.
thankfully they're not really like hooked on their phones. They'd rather be outside, which I'm happy about. And with 9 kids, almost 10 here, we probably will run into other situations where kids are glued to their phones more, and we'll have to navigate that.
Yeah.
But for now, that has seemed to work. But what we do is we don't give them a phone and social media at the same time.
Yeah.
So Jenna, I think, started using social media. How old were you? 14?
I remember not being able to have Instagram until I was around 13, I think. 13, 14.
Yeah. And even when we allowed her to have Instagram, we had rules where she was only allowed to friend people who she knew. She wasn't allowed to communicate with people who were not her friends. And she was not allowed to post anything unless we saw it first. Like she should get approval first. Because kids, you just never know what they're gonna post or what they might think is okay, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
And I think that worked well. And if we ever notice with any of the kids that either behavior is changing, or we haven't had to deal with this really, but like any grades or anything slipping, then the first thing that would go would be the social media, and then of course
that's the first thing that was added to it. Yeah.
But do you think that's worked well for you to have to kind of have that like you get your phone to call us first, and then you get social media?
Yes, I think that's
and there was rules.
I like having like guidelines, and they weren't like so many. There weren't like 10 or like 15. They were just 5 or 3 simple guidelines, like make sure you show me your post after you read it. Don't only follow these people, or like you didn't tell me that, but only follow friends and stuff.
And we told them the why behind it too. Like we told you, like, here's the why, because there are people out there that might try to communicate with you that you think are kids, but they're not. Or we're trying to explain we're protecting you here.
Yeah.
And these are the why rules.
And like I think that I'm very happy that you did not allow me to have Snapchat, which this is very controversial too.
Yeah.
But I feel like most people will agree with me on this. Snapchat is the worst app that you can have for kids.
Well, it just
I think.
never felt like I don't use Snapchat, and so
Yeah.
I told Jenna when
I
like
think it's different when a parent uses it first and then.
yeah.
But it's really not a great app for a 14-year-old
Yeah,
or
'cause
even a 13 or 12. Like, no kid should be on that app. It's also like
I didn't like how the posts disappear. It's like
Yeah.
you send something and then it like goes away,
Mhm.
and so it felt weird to me. Like, why would
Yeah.
it need to go away?
Yeah.
Like, if there's not, and
Yeah.
it just never felt well to my like mama heart, and so I
Mhm.
trusted that and just said,
Yeah.
you know what, like you can use other forms of social
Yeah.
media, like you can watch silly TikTok videos, you can watch, you
Make
can
your
scroll
own
on
little silly
Instagram.
TikTok videos too. That I
Yeah.
like being creative.
Mhm.
I think social media is very good for like a kid's creative.
I agree.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah. Yeah.
because like there you can talk about all the negatives all
Mhm.
you want, but I mean social media is here to stay.
Mhm.
They're gonna use it at some point, and so
Mhm.
I figure
Exactly.
they might as
Yeah.
well learn
Navigate
how to
it
navigate
with a
it.
parent.
Yes.
Yes.
While they're at home, and
Mhm.
that's kind of when Jenna asked me about having an Instagram page. I was like, well, I'd rather kind of be her mentor because I've been doing this for several
Mhm.
years while she's here, rather than
Mhm.
when she goes to college and tries this, and
Yeah.
I'd rather help her
Mhm.
kind of get her start
Yeah.
while she's still here, and
Yeah.
it's been a really cool thing.
I think I like it. It's
Yeah, but I agree that it's a great
Mhm.
creative tool.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
even Inga, like,
Yeah.
and Evie too.
They make little
They can make little videos, and they don't share them. They don't have a
Uh-uh.
public account, but they have older phones that we
Mhm.
have on Wi-Fi, and they
Mhm.
make the funniest little videos just for fun. There's
Uh-huh.
no reason.
Yeah.
And
And they
they're
have
creative.
It's so like Inga Marco Polo's her friend Ayla,
Uh-huh.
and they just have so much fun.
Yeah,
Like,
that's on Kids Messenger.
Kids Messenger.
Uh-huh.
That's on Kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually another thing. So before the kids had cell phones that had like a phone number, we let them have older phones with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And then to communicate with family members or friends, we would let them use Kids Messenger. And I feel
That's
like
a
that's
great
a good
app.
I
That's
do
a
too.
great app.
Yeah, I agree, because the parents can see all the messages,
Mhm.
and the parents choose
Mhm.
who their kids are friends with. So
Mhm.
no one can be a friend to your kid
Yeah.
unless you approve it. It's almost like too strict, because the other day Inga wanted to be friends with one of her
Yeah,
little
it
buddies,
is
and
a
I
little
couldn't
bit.
even figure out how to like
Yeah.
add them. It was so locked down. But
Yeah. It's very
Yeah.
it's very good. I like that app a lot.
yeah,
Like even as a kid, you can still like do little creative things, and
Mhm.
it's very user friendly as a kid. But
yeah.
yeah, I like it. And
Other
you can't
top-
send like links through it too, which I'm very happy that they can't. do
Right,
stuff
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
because there's no need. But
No. yeah, it's a good app.
back to Snapchat, like it's just not a good app.
Yeah, we've all heard stories, I think, of
Yeah.
teens that make bad choices
Yeah.
using that app, and
I'm so glad that like Evie has expressed no concern for having that. Like,
Yeah.
as a child, as when I was 13, like 14,
Mhm.
well, not really 14. I kind of just didn't want to be a part of that. But when I was younger, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to because all my friends have it. But I'm so glad in retrospect that like
Yeah, it just didn't
just
sit
don't.
well with us, and we just kept
Yeah.
saying no.
Yeah.
But I am glad we decided no on that too. Other topics. Let's talk about church and being raised in church. So we have always attended church, been involved in church as much as possible. Even, I mean, from the time they were born
Yeah.
until, as much as possible, we have been
Yeah.
in church. We've attended different types of churches.
Mhm.
We now attend a Baptist church. We're members,
Mhm.
and I feel like we found our home.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
do you think that growing up in church has had a positive impact
Mhm.
in just navigating
Mhm.
becoming a teen and just
Figuring out who you are.
Yeah, do you think that has helped you?
I think that there's a bunch of great like friends that can be made in the church. Like
Mhm.
I have a bunch of like friends
Yeah.
that I know. Most of them go to my school because we have such a small town.
Mhm.
But even those Bible stories that they teach us at such a young age, they have such a long lasting impact
Mhm,
on me.
That's cool.
And I think I really, really like the church.
And having a foundation and knowing
Mhm.
scripture.
And yes,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Knowing scripture and just being able to like let scary things go. Like, okay,
Yeah.
God's got my back.
Yeah.
He can help me. Like that's a really good
Yeah.
thing to have as a child. But because I mean, it is hard growing up. I mean, we've all done it. So
Yeah, I think that you
Just
can't
better,
go wrong raising
yeah,
children
it's
and
better to have God on your side.
right with faith,
Yeah.
and God's always on your side.
Yes.
Yes, I agree, and just helps you, like, when you have issues through middle school and high school, just having
Mhm.
that foundation of
To know God.
yeah, God has a plan. God is with me, even in middle school, even in
Mhm.
even in those hard times of just being in middle school and high
High school,
school.
yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to girls that are like in middle school, like sixth, seventh,
Mhm.
eighth grade? Because those are tough years.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even
those are
ninth
just really
grade.
tough years.
Yeah.
Yeah, ninth grade. Like kids can just be really mean.
Mhm.
And I've been thankful that we live in an area and we attend a school where we haven't had to deal with a lot of this, but we've heard stories, and I know that that it's happening where kids are they can just be cruel.
Mhm.
So, what advice would you give to um, girls, especially
Mhm.
that are in middle school that are just having a really hard time with friend groups?
Mhm. And I feel like it's also like, yes, friends, but trying to fit in, it's very hard to just navigate like growing up and then also trying to fit in.
Mhm.
I feel like worrying is the biggest thing. I remember worrying about the tiniest things now I just think are so
Yeah,
like
it
silly.
feels big at the time.
No,
now.
it is.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing. And I just think that understanding that you can talk to anybody. You can talk to your mom
Yeah.
and who's went through middle school. It helps a lot. And your older siblings, like
Yeah.
Evie, I'm thinking that's how I'm thinking. But
I think a lot of kids forget that their parents have been there, even though they're like, "Oh, that was
yeah,
so long ago."
yeah.
Well, we also were in middle school at one
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
And also just not worrying about all of those people. Like you are your own person. Show God's like light through your actions, not even just yeah. And know
Just so
your
wise.
worth. Know your worth. Like
Yeah.
if somebody's telling you something that you know is not true, like deep down, just keep your head high. Like yeah.
That's such a hard lesson to learn at that age, though.
Uh-huh.
That like these little issues that you're having are not the end of the world.
Mhm.
In fact, you're probably not even going to care about them in
Yeah.
a year or even a month.
But I would definitely, like thinking about that, I would definitely not tell my younger self, like, you need to just stop. Stop worrying about this because it doesn't matter. Like, their needs matter.
Yeah.
Everything. That
Everything feels big and important.
And I
Even
would
the-
just,
yeah.
like, expressing their
Acknowledge
concern.
it.
With, acknowledge it. Just be like, yes, I totally agree. That is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, just meet them there and go from there. Like,
And then encourage them.
yes, exactly. Like, build them up from there because you can't just pick them
Because
up
I know
here.
we have said several times for many different kids, just that, just these things feel big today. This is not something that you're going to need to worry about.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in a few
year.
years or even longer.
Or even in
shorter.
a month. Or even like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
And, you can't let these little things have such a big impact on.
find things that you enjoy too.
Yeah.
Like finding that sport that you enjoy.
That's true.
Finding even like art or band or
baking or anything.
Baking.
Just find a hobby.
Yeah, find something that
is
you
true.
enjoy that is not tied to somebody else.
That's true. It's good advice.
Evie really enjoys like baking with me.
She does, yeah.
And yeah.
And now cheer and
And finding her own things.
You really enjoy volleyball.
Yes.
And that's kind of become your thing.
And I found those people, like the people that I like through there. And yeah.
Kind of like-minded friends. And yeah, that's true. That's true. What would you say? So we have always told the kids that, you are only a child one time, like, and it goes so fast and you don't realize it. Like, it feels like it's so slow while you're in it. But you have your whole life to date and, be with, just deal with all that stuff, the birds and the bees. And so we have encouraged our older children, and we'll encourage all of them to, don't date at age 13, 14, like
11.
Yeah, I mean, our younger kids come home and they're
I
like,
think
I have a boyfriend, or my friend has a boyfriend or girlfriend, and I'm just like, you are like 10 and 11. What does that even mean?
Yeah, I think it's funny because those kids are going to change from middle school to high school, and they're going to get so different. And you're going to be like, oh, I dated that kid, or oh, I dated that kid. Like, it's just.
But even dating at 11 is just silly. But Yeah, but do
Be
you think that's been a
friends.
good thing to
Yes,
say? Because I know
yeah.
you've had a lot of friends who have been dating or
Uh-huh.
a
I
lot
never
longer or
really, yeah.
younger.
I never really expressed a
Yeah.
concern to date. I definitely think, oh, there's
Yeah.
some, like, yes, I would
Yeah.
like to date or whatever because my friends are doing it. But just knowing that, like, I just see my parents' relationship and being like, I know that there's so much more out there for me. Or I
Yeah.
know that, like, my parents didn't get together until they were
Mid-20s.
mid-20s. And so I know that I'm not going to find,
You're not going to be an old
Yeah.
maid if you don't
Uh-huh.
date in high school.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or middle
So,
school. Yeah.
yeah.
But we have not said that you
No,
can't date.
no. And that's also
We
been
just-
very
yeah.
good, too. Like,
Yeah.
just not being like, you can't do this because
Right.
you don't want them to go behind your back
Right.
and be sneaky about it.
Yeah.
And so being like, you can, but let me know who.
Yeah, we
It
just say
is, or-
it's, ideally you would wait
Yeah.
until your later high school years
And
because,
explaining why, too.
yeah,
'Cause
because,
every kid wants to just know why.
yeah,
Or why can't I do this? Why can't I do
Yeah.
that? Or I want to do that.
yeah.
Just because you say no, I want
It's
to do
normal.
it. And
It's just that,
Mhm.
more than likely you're probably not going to end up with that person that
Yeah.
you dated in high school, but you're going to not waste, but you're going to
But, yeah.
spend a lot of time and
Mhm.
energy
Mhm.
in that relationship.
Yeah, and
then
wanting to be a kid and not
Right.
growing up and being, I don't know. I just would kind of back off, kind of from. I'm glad that you gave me room, I
Yeah.
guess, to decide what I
Yes.
wanted to do.
Right.
So I didn't like go behind your back and do
Yeah.
something that was.
And our
Yeah.
small experience with this
Mhm.
this topic has been very positive.
Mhm.
And
And
we
I think
haven't
it's because you.
Yeah.
you have- yeah.
Yeah, and we never set like very rigid rules,
Mhm.
like, and we have boundaries and guidelines, of course, but we
Expectations
Mhm.
over rules any day.
Yeah.
Like, I love how you have very, like, normal expectations, but that just makes me want to go above and beyond those
Yeah.
expectations.
I feel like our older kids respect us a lot, and
Mhm.
and that has been
Yeah.
more effective than discipline
Yeah.
because your respect for your parents, I feel, is something that you would never want to betray
Mm-mm. Yeah.
or hurt,
Mhm.
and so because of that, we
Mhm.
haven't had to set hard rules and
Yeah.
discipline.
I agree with that
yeah.
very, very much.
But as far as like how people will say, well, how do you earn that respect? What did you do
Yeah.
to make your kids respect you? Do
Friend-
you have any answers?
I feel like I respect my friends. I respect who they are, and I respect like what they do, and I feel like it's very good to go at it as like a friend. Like,
Yeah.
first, if it's not something that you like, go at it as like approach it how you would your friend. Like, okay, I don't like what you're doing.
like we talk to you as an equal.
yeah,
kind of?
exactly. Yeah, like not
Yeah.
peering down on me because that just makes me not want to go
Yeah.
to you or talk to you
Yeah.
because you're mad at me. That's how I
Mhm.
would see it. So just being like understanding is the biggest.
We've also tried hard to be like, I think we're more conscious of it because we
Mhm.
have so many kids, but we've always tried to be as present as possible
Yeah.
whenever our kids are sharing something with
Mhm.
us or talking to us. And sometimes, like, to them, they're just talking to us for 5 minutes,
Mhm.
but they don't realize that we've also had 5-minute conversations with 5 other kids.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it's kind of like, for us, it's like, okay, here we go. Like, we're
Mhm.
talking, and but that's like that kid's time with mom and
Mhm.
dad. So we try really hard to be like, okay, this is their time.
Mhm.
We're putting phones away. We're focusing. We're like in the conversation.
Mhm.
We've tried really hard to be present
Yeah.
when you guys talk to us too.
Oh,
Hopefully
yes.
that's helped.
Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
that's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like just like voicing your concern too, but in a manner that is not mean.
Yeah.
Like not the tone is the biggest thing too.
Mhm.
Like you can be like, "Oh, I do not like that what you're
Mhm.
doing," or you could be like, "I don't really like what you're doing, but we can
try to
just
stay
change
calm.
it." Yeah,
Yeah.
staying calm and addressing it, but not in the strict way that you want to do.
Yeah.
At least. Like when I discipline, well, I don't really discipline that much because I'm Jenna, but when I discipline like Inga,
Like try to correct them.
I always try to be like, I try at
Yeah.
least, and that's why
I think kids will escalate to your level.
yeah, exactly.
And then if you're mad
Going
and you're
from-
yelling,
they just
it's not
Mhm,
effective.
mhm, yeah, like
Yeah.
Inga is also the one who she just likes to go back and
Our
forth.
followers
so
know Inga. She's
she's a-
spunky and feisty.
I love Inga.
She
She's
requires
just-
a whole other set of
Yeah,
parenting
yeah.
skills. Yeah.
But she just wants to
Yeah.
be heard.
She
and
does.
That's why
She wants
I
to
think
be
that's-
talked to like an
mhm.
adult.
And that's why most like
Yeah.
kids rebel or
She's
they're
9.
just hard. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, they just all want to be heard like
Yeah.
equally. They don't want to feel like they're less than you or
Yeah.
more than you because their concerns matter and everything. that they want to.
Well, we've been talking for about 30 minutes
Yeah.
now. So, is there any other topics you think we should cover? We covered everything?
I think we covered.
We did good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're so blessed to have a child like Jenna and all the other kids too. But I mean, Jenna's our first, and we're just blown away with just how amazing she is. And in thinking of a podcast episode, I had to have Jenna on here to talk about just being a teen and just our relationship because I'm just proud of it. I'm proud of her. I'm proud of us. So
Me too.
I think we did good.
I think.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I bet Jenna's going to make another guest appearance
I
at
bet
some
so.
point. So, all right. Well, next week we'll be back with Chelsea. So thanks for watching.
Bye.